Welcome back in. On this one, we need to talk about the reactivity and REFS. So let me give you an example first. Let's say that we have a value and we want to change that value over time or on demand. So, I'm going to go to this setup. I'm going to create a variable called let. And if we create a const, it's going to be read only. So we need to use a let. And this is just common JavaScript. And this one is going to be count equals to 0. Then what I want to do, I want to create a function, and then the function is going to be called, change value, something like that, something that makes sense. Change value, open and close, and inside I want to access this count, and I want to change it to 1. I want to change it at some point. Now, if we want to use the variable and the function, we need to return it. So return, open and close, and we export the change value, and we export the count. Now, I want to use it inside the app. So I'm going to do p, open and close, and I'm going to say that the value is equal to open, and then we say that we want to print the count. If I save this and go to our index HTML and reload the application, we get the initial value, which is 0. We know that happens. But then at some point, I want to run my function, and I can just go here and say that I want to run the change value function. And this one, what it should be doing is to take the count, update it to 1, so we should be able to see the change. If I go to our application and reload it, that is not happening. The value will stay 0, which is the initial value. It will never change to 1. This means that the value that we have right here is not reactive. Now, to make it reactive within Vue, we need to bring something that calls ref. I'm going to take it, just import it from here. The ref, what it will do, it will wrap whatever value that we have right here within an object, and then it's just going to make it reactive. So if we want to change this over time or on demand, we need to do ref, open and close, and then put the value inside. Since the value will be placed within ref, which is again a mutable or a reactive object, we need to access this value here, and just by doing count, it's not going to work. It's going to be count, and then and only then we enter to the value of count, and we change it to 1. Now, if I save it, and now I go to our application and reload it, notice that it's changing. It's running the script, executing the function, and then it's changing it to 1. Now, of course, we don't see the change because, everything happens super fast. So if maybe we want to see it happening, we could do a set timeout, just like that, open and close. And, this is just standard JavaScript, set timeout. And I guess maybe 3 seconds, it's more than enough. I'm going to say 3 seconds, and I'm just going to chop this and put it inside this set timeout. So now when we run this function, the application will wait for 3 seconds, and then it will change the value from 0 to 1. I'm going to go to the HTML. I'm going to reload it 1, 2, 3, and we see the change happening. Now, this count property is a reactive property because we are using the ref. Now, of course, we can do a lot more. A ref can take a subset of values. Let's say that we have an object, not just a simple value like this. We have something a little bit more complex. Well, we can. I'm going to create an object, and inside of the object, I'm going to say that we have a name with Francis or whatever name that you want. I'm going to create an occupation for this dude, occupation, there we go. And this one, it's going to be, dev, why not? And then I'm going to say that the user or this dev has an age of, 18. Okay, so we have, again, an object. We have many properties, not just one property. So now how we access to the ref is going to be a little bit different. But first, I want to print the initial values on the screen. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say that the name of the developer is going to be, and then we go to user. And I guess I'm using count. I'm going to change this to user. And now we go to user, and we do dot, and we print the name. And I guess I'm going to be doing the same for the other properties. I'm going to say occupation, and then this one, it's equal to open and close, user dot, and then occupation. And we have one more to go, which is going to be p, and then h, and then open and close, and then user dot occupation. h. There we go. So now let's say, and for now I'm going to remove this. I'm going to run the function in a minute. I want to see if we get the initial values correct. And we don't. We just count. It's not defined. So when this happens, it's because you're not exporting whatever it is that you're doing. We are exporting count. You're returning count, not user. So we need to change it. So user, there you go. So now I'm going to reload the application, and we get Francis, Dev, and age. So we get the initial values. I want to do the same thing than before. I want to wait for 3 seconds and change some part of this reactive property. I'm going to call this update and then age, something different, because right now maybe that change value is just not right. And now I want to go right here at the top, and I'm going to say that I want to run that function, and then the function is going to wait for 3 seconds, and it's going to change something. Now, since now we have something different, we don't want to change the value, because the value of the ref is going to be the whole object. I want to target just the age. When we are using a ref, we need to do whatever property that we need to use, then dot, then value, and now we have an object, then we need to do dot, and then we're going to say age. And for now, I'm going to change it, I guess, to 20 or something like that. If I reload the application, it's going to be 3 seconds. I guess now we're going to see the change. So now instead of having just a value, we have an object with many properties that we can change over time or on demand. Okay, so refs are going to be something that you're going to use the whole time with Vue.js. Now you also have something else called reactive, and this is again a different method, a different way of doing things. I'm going to do comma, and I'm going to bring the reactive property right here at the top. And instead of using a ref, I'm going to make it reactive. So, what is the difference? The main difference is that reactive is better used with special situations when we use watchers or computed properties, or maybe some other functions from Vue.js. And again, we are going to be we're going to get there in a few sections, computed properties and watchers. We're going to talk about that. But right now, for us, the benefit that we get from a reactive property is that we can make the object self-reactive, self-aware. So we don't need to use the value anymore. I can remove the value and use the same thing, and it didn't change anything, just remove the value. If I reload the application, we can see that this is, working the same fashion. It's working the same way. And which one you should use? Well, it's completely up to you. If you want to use a ref, it's the most common one, and you use it for maybe properties where you just only have something like this. Let me say car. Let's say we have a ref. And then we say, I don't know, Ford. Well, in this case, the ref is going to be of better use because it's a very simple value. If you have something a little bit more complex, it's just much easier to use the reactive. But again, you can choose in what you want to use.